Happy Fridays, everybody. Thank you so much for being here, either live or using this as a pre-recorded class for some Pilates Matwork. I'm Rachel. For anybody who doesn't know me, local physical therapist and Pilates instructor. I've been working in the community for, gosh, almost 25 years now, and I love to be here. This is the highlight of my week. We've got 45 minutes of flow style class. This is body weight resistance, using our limbs and leverage for some mobility work, some core work, hips, glutes, shoulders, chest, all of the above. We might want to grab a cushion for when we're on hands and knees. So a towel roll or a small pillow would work great. A gardening pad in the future also works pretty well. I will cue you when that you might want to have that. Again, no, if you don't have it, it's completely fine. We're going to start in standing. We'll likely finish in standing, and we will likely finish up with a little bit of balance work. So if you want to be near a wall or something a little bit stable, if you feel like you might need a little bit of extra support with balancing, go ahead and get yourself near something, or bring a chair or something steady nearby that you can grab at that time. That won't be till the end of class. We're going to work through at a pace that makes sense for our own bodies. Let's go ahead and get ourselves moving. Good timing for someone who just walked in. Wonderful and welcome. And let's go ahead and stand up. If you have that cushion, it's going to go off to the side of your mat. I'll cue you when you might want to have that later. And we're going to stand up nice and tall on your mat, or I'm going to be slightly behind so that most of my body shows up in that screen. Let's get our feet shoulder width apart, toes pointed out toward the front bottom corners of our room, and we're going to soften up our knees. Bend them up just a touch so we know we're using our muscles for a little support versus hanging on the ligaments on the back of our legs. We're going to drop our tailbone toward the floor and pulling up through the crown of the head, reaching it all the way up to the ceiling. So we have a little space between each of those transitional spots. So between the head and the neck, all those spinal segments, and between the spine and the pelvis and the hips. Let's press our big toe and our pinky toe firmly into the floor. And we're going to stretch those fingertips down the sides of our thighs toward our outer knee joint lines. As we stretch them down, we're going to feel the muscles behind those shoulders lengthening out and engaging a bit. And let's tip our head side to side as we continue to reach those fingertips down toward the sides of the thighs. Feel the opposite side of the neck and shoulder lengthen out as we bring that ear to the shoulder. We'll bring our head up nice and tall, give a little nod to the chin, and let's turn and look side to side. We're first going to make sure we can see that wall to our side, and then if we have a little more give, we can look and see we can look at that wall behind us. We'll check this out at various points through class when our upper bodies might need a little bit of a break as well. Let's take our hand to our breastbone, one hand to our breastbone, gently press back and gently draw down. So we feel maybe a little superficial drag just below the collarbones. Holding that position, we're gonna look up, lengthening through the jaw just a little bit, and we'll look down toward the hand. Let's just repeat that one more time. Look up and look down to the hand. We're gonna turn and look one direction, pulling the hand gently the other way, getting us a little bit of a draw and a stretch through those superficial muscles along the chest underneath the collarbone. We'll come back to the center and let's turn our head the other way and push those superficial tissues away from the side we're looking toward. Breathing back to center, we'll bring our arms down, shrug the shoulders, breathing in, exhale, drop them down. Again, shrug them up and drop them down. We're gonna repeat that twice more, feeling our shoulder blades slide up and down, and imagine them glide in nice and smoothly along the back of our rib cage. Excellent. Let's set our belly and spine toward each other. We're compressing a little bit from the front to back and the back to front direction. And as we do so, we're going to feel that seatbelt of muscles engaging right around our waistline, below the lowest ribs to above that pelvis. Let's hold a little bit of activity there and breathe the arms up and overhead. We'll bring them out to the sides and down. Again, breathe those arms up and overhead. Exhale them out to T. So thumbs are level with the shoulders, palms face forward, and we're going to take some side bends with our upper body. Let the arms go along for the ride. Picture airplane wings following along the body of that airplane as the plane turns side to side. Come up nice and tall, breathe in, and exhaling, one hand comes overhead, and we're going to reach into a nice tall side bend toward the opposite side of the room. Breathe back up nice and tall, and let's repeat it on the other side. Inhale up, exhale, side bend. Inhale up and exhale, side bend. Let's bring our arms up to the ceiling, shoulder width apart with those hands. We're going to take another couple of tall side bends toward each top side of the room. Now that we've lengthened out that trunk a little bit, we'll add that upper part of the trunk, Side of the shoulder blades into the mix mobility-wise. Reach over to the side, press through the foot to come up tall, and we'll side bend the other way. And inhale up tall. Arms come out to the sides. We're gonna reach them down by our body, breathe the shoulders to the ears, and then drop them right back down toward the hips. And let's bring our feet in, narrowing that base of support up. Heels line up under our sit bones. We're gonna keep the weight over the front of our ankles. Let's lift up our toes and stretch them apart. Lengthen out through those muscles that go between the bones of our feet. Let's press our toes down, seeing if we can go pinky first, rolling through until our big toe presses down. Lift and spread and press those toes down. And we're gonna shift forward and back, rocking within the range where we can keep our toes and our heels pressed into the mat. As we do so, we'll bring our hands to our midsection. Feel for a little bit of activity through that trunk, particularly when we hit the end ranges of our base. Let's come right back over the front of the ankle joint, and we're gonna shift from side to side, feeling those muscles again engage underneath our fingertips. And they engage a little bit differently depending on whether we're bearing weight on that side or if it's the side we're moving away from. Let's make some circles around our base. Reach a pencil out of the crown of the head all the way to the ceiling. Draw a nice circle. We'll pause and switch directions, moving the fingertips to the front of the waist and the thumbs to the back. Again, we'll feel those muscles turn on and off. Let's settle our weight toward the balls of the feet. Spread those toes away from each other again. Let's warm up the soles of the feet a little. Shift forward, hovering our heels up off the floor. We're gonna feel our toes grip the mat just a little bit. We'll feel the calves engage. We'll feel those foot muscles engage a little bit. A little tension through the sole of the foot. Hold it here, take a big breath in, and exhaling, we keep the weight forward as our heels come down. We shift our weight back over the ankles, and give those knees a little shake. Give the wrists a little shake. We're gonna roll those wrists out in circles, get ready to make our way down to a position where we're bearing weight through our hands. And then let's go ahead and grab our extra cushioning that we have handy, place it in the center of the mat, and let's step a few paces away from that and turn to face lengthwise on our mat. So as we make our way down to the floor, we do want to be about 1 to 1.5 feet away from that extra padding, just so our knees will land in a nice cushioned position. So we're going to take the pinky sides of our hands right to the fold in the hips, and we tip that body forward. We're shooting for a stopping point right where we feel those muscles engage and lengthen through the backs of our thighs. And let's reach our fingertips down. Bend up those knees, taking the hands to the floor, and we're going to walk our hands forward. Let's keep that tailbone back for a while. We're going to lengthen our knees down to the mat. If you have the flexibility through the toes, try to keep the balls of the feet pressing toward the floor so we get that nice stretch through the sole of the foot. And we're going to settle our hands into whatever position feels comfortable. If we need a little less strain through the tops of our wrists, turn the fingertips pointing slightly outward. That's going to give us a little more room to move. Let's set our belly up toward our spine and then curl that little back just a touch. Round up to cat, looking toward the thighs. And then send your tailbone to the ceiling and bring the breastbone forward for cow. Curl the cat. Reverse to cow. 2 more times. Curl the cat. Reverse to cow. And last time through, curl it up. And reverse. We're going to bring that trunk right back to neutral and give that tail a side to side wag. Keep the shoulders still as our hips move from one side to the other. Coming right back to center, we'll turn the tops of the feet down to the floor. Let's squeeze our shoulder blades together behind the back. Keep that chin gently nodded toward the neck as we bring the blades together and let that breastbone drop down. Press through the hands, press those shoulder blades forward toward the floor. Squeeze and press. We're going to do our best to keep our elbows still as those shoulder blades move. Squeeze, press, and hold. And we're going to keep that downward pressure gently through the heels of our hands as we take 1 foot at a time and rotate that hip so the foot comes just beyond the border of our mat. We might get a little crunchy here on one side versus the other. We might feel or hear a little noise. It's okay as long as it's not painful. Noise is just noise sometimes. And then let's cross one ankle over the opposite lower leg. Again, same thing, doing our best to keep the motion in the hip, out of the pelvis, out of the back, and out of that upper body. Let's take those feet down in line with each other. Now we're going to bring our big toes together, take the knees toward the outer edges of the mat. And let's press our bottom back and forth. We're going to ease into that position. It's a lot of knee bend and it's a lot of hip bend. So let's get ourselves used to that motion first. We're just going to rock back and forth a bit. And then maybe we drop our bottom all the way back to our heels. Drop the forearms down and slide those elbows in until they come right to the inner knee joint line. From here, shift that weight from side to side. Press the floor away with the body, with the forearms to translate the body from side to side, and we're gonna feel those inner thighs lengthen out on the side we're moving away from. As we come back to center, slide or creep those hands forward. We're gonna press gently into the hands, letting that upper body come up a little bit. And I want you to straighten your elbows out here. Feel those triceps engaging just a little bit. Not a ton of work, but a little bit going on. And then we're gonna draw our shoulder blades down and press slightly forward. So we're gonna feel those muscles engaging under the armpits. If we have a little more length, let's inch those hands forward till we find that stretch point through the sides of the trunk. Take a breath here, and then if we exhale, maybe we can take them forward a little further, sliding the hands toward the front of our mat and lowering that forehead toward the floor. It's okay if it does not touch. We can always bring our hands in and let the forehead rest on those arms a little. As we take a breath in now at that open position in that child's pose, we're gonna feel the back of the body open up. Breathing out, we walk our hands toward our screen and pause here, taking a big breath in, feeling the opposite side of the body opening up, opposite the side we're reaching toward. Let's go ahead and bring our hands over to the other side. Again, we pause, hand over hand, take that breath. Exhale. Walking the hands towards center, we're gonna lower our forearms, bending the elbows, shift right back over those elbows, and let's take any extra cushioning we have under the knees out and place it off to the side that we used in a little while. We'll lengthen our legs out and bring the upper thighs down to rest onto the mat. Let's hold it here. Draw the belly and spine toward each other just slightly, and we'll send our breastbone up toward the wall in front. So we're gonna open up the chest and extend through that upper back a little bit so the crown of the head is reaching up to where the wall and ceiling meet in front of us. Holding here, squeeze your blades together again. Drop that breastbone toward the floor. Resetting belly to spine as needed. We're gonna press those blades forward and release them to squeeze and wrap around the back of the body. Press and squeeze. Press and squeeze. Press and hold. Take a big breath in here, and breathing out, we're gonna turn on our side, and we're gonna bring ourselves all the way over into our backs now. Let's lie down with our arms resting by our sides. We'll bend our knees up, lining the heels up with our sit bones. And I want you to imagine the whole body getting a little bit heavier down into your supporting surface. Close your eyes if you'd like to. Feel the sacrum just above that tailbone. We're gonna feel our middle back, and we're gonna feel the back of our head contacting the floor. Let's roll with that. Let's get the arms nice and heavy. Let's get that breastbone nice and heavy so we can maybe even press that upper back into the floor a little bit more firmly. And we're gonna draw the belly and spine toward each other. As we engage the front of the body and draw it downward, we're gonna feel that tightening engagement of the muscles between the two bones in the front of the pelvis. We're gonna keep a little engagement there as we imagine a clock face with 12 o'clock at the breastbone, 6 at the pubic bone, 3 and 9 on either side, resting on the trunk and pelvis. Let's keep the rest of our body still as we curl the pelvis toward 12 o'clock, flattening the low back. And then as we lengthen the tailbone toward the heels for 6 o'clock, letting that low back maybe even come up a little off the floor. Let's curl between 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, honing in on a range where we can keep our head and neck nice and still. If you're very stiff through that lower body, it's gonna be tough to keep that chin still. I want you to find, even if it's just small amounts of motion, we're gonna rock just through that lower body and find our way back to neutral. Let's rock the pelvis toward 3 o'clock. I'm moving away from my screen. We'll roll through center and take that far hip up toward the ceiling as we rock toward 9 o'clock. Curl it toward 3 and toward 9. Appreciate how pressing your feet into the floor a little bit asymmetrically will allow you to keep your legs nice and still as the middle section moves. Rock to 9 and come right back to center. We're gonna press those shoulder blades gently down to the mat, reach the arms to the ceiling, and nod that chin gently toward the neck. Let's bring our blades up, wrap them around the front of the body. We're gonna feel that breastbone press down, and we'll feel engagement through those shoulder blade muscles. Lower the blades, reach them up. Lower the blades, reach them up. If we want to challenge ourselves more, those knees come up to tabletop. And again, we reach and lower those shoulder blades for 4. Reach 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Lower the blades back down, flex the feet, toes pull toward the knees, and we're going to lower and lift one heel at a time to the mat and back up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. How still can we keep the rest of the body? Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, inhale, lift those heels back up, legs are at tabletop, and we're gonna rotate our ankles while keeping the rest of the body nice and still. Rotate them in circles the other way. Breathing back to center, we point our toes, draw the ankles and knees together, and float the arms back down by our sides. As we hold here, we're feeling some work through that midsection to hold those knees up in that 90-degree position, supporting our hips. Let's rock the lower half of the body toward the screen and away, allowing the bones in the back of the pelvis to lift up just a touch on the side we're moving the legs away from. We should feel engagement from just below those lowest ribs all the way down through the pelvis. Maybe we straighten our knees out, lengthening the toes up to the ceiling, and again we rock side to side with that lower half of the body toward the screen and away, toward the screen and back to center. Let's take that leg closest to the screen, stretch it toward the wall in front of us. The far leg pulls gently into the chest. Keep that stretching, reaching leg nice and active and straight as we lower that heel down till it just kisses the floor, and then we squeeze and lift right back up toward the ceiling, lifting that leg up high as we can, keeping the tailbone on the mat. Exhale and lower. Inhale, straighten it up to the ceiling. Exhale and lower. Inhale, lift it up. One more time, exhale, lower. Inhale, lift that leg toward the ceiling. We'll pull it in to meet the other knee, and we extend our opposite leg up toward where the wall and ceiling meet in front of us. Breathe it in here, and as we breathe out, we draw the belly and spine toward each other and lengthen that opposite leg forward, down the wall till our heel touches the floor. Lift back up, taking those toes close to the ceiling as we can, keeping the tailbone down. Lengthen in, kiss the floor. Lift and lengthen to the ceiling. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift it up, and one final time, exhale, lower. We hold that leg down there. Draw the bent knee across the body, wiggling into the side of the hip and allowing that pelvis to come up off the mat if appropriate to you. Breathe them back to the center, switch legs. Lengthen out, draw that leg across the body and feel that hip open up. Take a big breath in here. We'll exhale back to center. Keeping that core engaged, we're gonna hover the straight leg off the floor and stretch the toes forward, circling the wall. There's 4, here's 3, 2, and 1. Let's reverse it. Circle 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull and press, lengthening out toward the wall in front. Circle that wall for 4, for 3, for 2. Reverse it. Circle 4, circle 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg to the mat, hang on behind your lifted thigh, and lift those toes up to the ceiling. Bend and straighten that knee, finding the length behind that thigh. Stretching the toes to the ceiling, we'll add that ankle wiggle, flex and point. Point the toes to the ceiling, keep that core engaged, resetting if necessary, and let's hover that supporting leg up off the mat. Press your hands into the floor. Decide if we want to keep that hover or if we need to press the leg into the mat for a little more stability. Let's circle the ceiling with that lifted leg. It's okay if we need to bend our knee to add some slack, decrease that leverage. Breathe in at the top, and then exhaling, we'll circle the other direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Draw that knee in, give it a hug. Big breath in, switching on the exhale. Lengthen that far leg down, hang on behind the lifted thigh, and we'll extend that knee, drawing the toes upward. Wiggle through that leg. Again, find your hamstring length, and then we wiggle through our ankle for 4, for 3, for 2. Pause, pointing the toes to the ceiling as we draw the belly to the spine. Hover your supporting leg up. Arms come down by the sides. Decide if that hovered leg stays lifted or on the mat, and we circle that far leg on the ceiling. 4, and 3, 2. Breathe in into the top, and then exhaling, we take it the other way. 4, and 3, 2, and 1. Hug that knee into the chest, draw the other one in to meet it, and as we draw those knees into the body, open up that low back into the floor. Rock that trunk from side to side. Take a big breath in, and a big breath out. We'll come back to center, nod the chin slightly and turn. We're gonna look toward our screen. We'll look away. Looking back to the center, we reset the belly to the spine. We can flatten that low back just a touch further into the mat. Let's reach our arms to the ceiling and fold those legs up through tabletop, extending the knees so the toes come upward. Let's reach our feet out to a V. Feet are stretching toward the side walls. Find the point where you get that inner thigh stretch, and then we zip those feet together, take them to the ceiling. Exhale and lengthen. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lengthen. Inhale together. One more time. Exhale, lengthen apart. Inhale, feet together. We're going to circle those legs on the ceiling. Maybe we add a little bit of distance length to that radius as we continue our reps. Pause at the top and then breathing out, we'll take them the other way. Keep the circle going. Drop those shoulders to the mat if you can. One more circle, we'll pause at the top. Take that breath, reset belly to spine, and we're going to circle our legs in opposite directions of each other. We're trying to get that motion in the hip joint with the rest of the body staying still as we can keep it. Breathe in and exhaling, we circle the other way. Here's 3. Here's 2. Breathe in at the top. Turn those kneecaps away from each other. Bend the knees. The toes stay together as we come into a pointed foot frog position. Knees are out to the side. Let's take our hands from the ceiling, drop them down toward the legs, and if you can grab your shins gently, go ahead and close your hands on the shins and gently draw those knees a little closer into the body. So we're moving into our little Spider-Man hang stretch here. Take a breath and exhale the belly to the spine, and we're going to gently rock a little bit from side to side, lengthen out through those inner thighs. We'll pause in the center, quieting down that motion. Big breath in, exhale, belly to spine. Sweep the arms to the ceiling, and we're going to press our feet together, press those knees toward each other, lengthening toward the wall in front with those toes. Inhale to frog and exhale, press. Inhale to frog. Exhale, press, flex your feet again. Inhale to frog and exhale, press. One more time. Inhale, exhale, press. Turn the legs parallel to each other, sweep them up to the ceiling, and we'll point our toes. We're going to reset belly to spine. Take the arms back to where the wall and ceiling meet overhead. Take those feet forward, aiming toward where the wall and ceiling meet in front. We're going to bring our knees into our chest, sweep the arms around, and draw the knees in, holding onto the shins. Let's repeat. We're going to start by breathing in, legs and arms to the ceiling. Exhale away from the body. Inhale, knees to chest as we circle the arms around and draw those shins in. Twice more. Reach up to the ceiling. Exhale and open. Knees draw in as we circle. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale, open. Inhale, knees to chest and circle those knees in. We're going to rock that body side to side, holding onto the shins. Big breath in. Big breath out, and come right back to center. Let's grab our knees. Let's guide those kneecaps up and take the feet down to the floor. With the hands down by our sides, we're going to flip our palms to face the ceiling. Bend the elbows to 90 degrees, and then bring those arms out until the elbows and shoulders are lined up with each other as best we can get them. So we have a straight line from elbow to shoulder to breastbone to shoulder to elbow. Fingertips are facing or pointing toward the ceiling, palms face forward. And we're going to take a moment here just to feel what we feel touching the floor now. So our sacrum's still down, our middle back is still down. We should be able to do our best to get those the backs of our arms, back of our shoulders down to the floor. We may get a nice stretch here already in the sides of the shoulders and the front of our chest. Let's hold that. And then we're going to see if we can keep those connections through the trunk with the mat. So without letting our backs lift up off the floor, we're going to take the backs of our hands and rotate them back toward the mat. So we're rotating those arms outward. Okay, let's see how close to the mat we can get the backs of our hands. We'll breathe in, coming right back up, fingertips reaching toward the ceiling. Rotate back and rotate up toward the ceiling. We're going to repeat this a few times. It's a nice chest opener. A good stretch for the shoulders. If you feel pain in your shoulders, I want those elbows off the floor a little bit. Going back and forth. One more time. Rotate those backs of the hands back. Rotate the fingertips to the ceiling. We're going to stretch our hands up now to the ceiling. Straighten the elbows and the palms face each other. Let's open those arms back overhead. Reach them first toward where the wall and ceiling meet, and we drop the lowest ribs and that belly down toward the floor. Maybe we can breathe out and extend those arms away from the body a little further. Take them back overhead, shoulder flexion. We'll hit a point where we feel a nice stretch through the very, very tops of the trunk, right out toward that armpit. We're gonna hold that there. Maybe the hands are down, maybe those arms are all the way up toward the ceiling. We're just breathing into that length. Let's walk our feet out. Lengthen out through the knees, stretching the toes toward the wall in front. And again, I want you to drop your lowest ribs down toward the floor. Hold that position, tighten up the thighs, and we're gonna walk the feet out, lifting one at a time up off the mat. They could be 6 inches off the floor, they could be 12 inches off the floor. We're doing our best to keep the pelvis still enough that if something were balanced right between those two hip bones, they would move, we wouldn't lose it. Alternate, here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet come down, arms come to the ceiling. Let's slide and bend our knees and slide the heels in until they line up with our sit bones. Big breath in, and exhaling, we arc our arms down to the floor and press those palms firmly into the mat. Let's squeeze our glutes, lift them up off the mat. We're gonna lift up to bridge, lengthening the knees toward the wall in front. It doesn't matter to me how high up off the floor your hips are lifted. What I want you to feel is those hips engage, those glutes engage, and some length through the front of the thighs. Lengthen the tailbone toward the heels as we lower that body back down. Squeeze and lift, lower and release. Again, you are welcome to lift up high as you want, provided you do not feel this engaging and bothering your back. You want to feel those hips working. Let's lift those hips up to bridge again. We're going to press our arms into the mat. Keep those hips engaged and lifted, and we're going to go up and down on our toes. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels come down, take a breath. Exhale, lengthen the body down. Release those glutes at the bottom, and let's give our knees a side to side rock. We'll go toward the screen and away. Again, allowing the hips to come up on the side we're moving our knees away from. Breathe it into center. Exhale, belly to spine. Squeeze and lift. We're going to hold our bridge again. Let's open and close one knee at a time. Take them away from the body, keeping, again, those hips nice and level. Points in the hips pointing directly up to the ceiling. Side to side with the knees. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. Big breath in and exhale, lengthen down. Release at the bottom and rock those knees side to side. Again, big breath in one direction and big breath out to the other side. Breathe them in back to center. Exhale, squeeze those glutes. We're going to press and lift up and hold. Again, keeping those hips lifted. Let's move into our march, taking one knee at a time in toward the body. Pressing firmly through the opposite heel. The more we can focus on pressing through the heel, the less likely we are to get a cramp in either the calf or the hamstring. Pause at tabletop. Maybe we can stretch the toes up to the ceiling before bringing that foot back down. Extend to the ceiling and lower. Feel free to keep the knees bent if that allows you to keep better stability. Feel free to straighten if you want a little bit more of a challenge. One more lift on each side. We'll press our final foot down into the mat. Lift those heels up a fraction of an inch higher. Big breath in. Exhaling, we'll lengthen down. Let's release our glutes at the bottom. And again, we rock our knees toward one side wall and toward the other. One more time. Rock toward one, rock toward the other, and those knees come right back up to face the ceiling. Let's cross an ankle over the other knee. Let that crossed over knee fall back out to the side just to its first natural stopping point, and then keeping the shoulders and back of the head on the mat. If you have a little more slack, lift up, hold that figure 4, and then from here we're going to rock away from the crossed over side, opening that stretch up a little bit further outward. Inhale, center, and then breathing out, we'll switch it up. Ankle to knee, lift up into that figure 4, rock away. Excellent. Coming back to center, we'll hug those knees in, take the feet to the floor. Let's go ahead and turn toward our screen, and we're going to rest on our forearm. Knees are forward, heels are lined up at the bottom. Let's take our top hand to the waistline. We're gonna lift the waistline up a little bit, and I want you to focus on keeping your ear and shoulder of that supporting side as far away from each other as you can. We're gonna feel those muscles engage on the underside of the waistline. Take that top arm to the ceiling. If you want to make this more challenging, lift that hip up. Take the top hand forward and to the ceiling, overhead and down by the side. Repeat, forward to the floor, up to the ceiling, overhead and down by the side. We're gonna hold for a breath, and then exhaling, we lower our hip down if it's been lifted. We'll come up to a seated position, give that weight bearing shoulder a little roll back and down. Maybe we tip our head to the opposite side. And we come up nice and tall. Let's repeat on our other side. Forearm is on the mat, elbow and shoulder are lined up, and those knees are forward. Let's take that top hand to the waistline. Elbow and shoulder are lined up, ear and shoulder are away from each other, and then we lift our side up. Let's go ahead and take that top arm to the ceiling. If we do have a little bit more room to move and a little more challenge in us, lift that hip up. We're gonna take our top hand down, up to the ceiling, overhead, and down by the side. Touch the floor, lift to the ceiling, overhead, take it down by the side. Let's hold here for a breath. Exhaling, lower that hip. We'll come up nice and tall. Let's take a seat on our mat here. If we can get our weight above our sit, or in front of our sit bones with crossed legs, go ahead and do so. If you need your feet in front of you to allow you to get those sit bones on the mat, that's perfectly fine. You pick the position that's working best for your body. We're gonna spread our arms out to the sides with the palms facing forward. Let's take a big breath in, and exhaling, lift that rib cage up and off the pelvis. Let's take those hands down to the mat on either side. Sit bones stay nice and still. And again, we're doing those airplane arms that we did in standing during our warm up. Keep the fingertips on the mat, and let's take our opposite arm up and over for a nice tall side bend reach. Inhale up to center, exhale side bend, arm comes over and reach. Inhale up, exhale side bend. One more time, inhale up and exhale side bend. Let's sweep our arm back over to center, give the shoulders a roll, and we're gonna get ready to make our way up to all fours. So if you do have that extra padding handy and wanna use it again, take it to the center of the mat and take your knees to it. We'll line up here on hands and knees. Draw the belly gently to the spine. Let's curl through cat and reverse through cow. Looking toward the thighs and then sending the breastbone toward the wall in front of us. Coming right back to center, we'll give our tail a little wag, a little revisiting of those warm-up exercises we did. Coming right back to center, we keep that core engaged. We're gonna tap one hand to the opposite shoulder and walk them through, repeating, alternating through our sides. Take the hands out to the sides of the mat, and if you want a bigger challenge, repeat that tap again with the fingertips right at the outer edges of our mat. Notice the effort, move a little bit lower on the waist, on the trunk. Take the hands back down to the mat, slide the far leg back, lengthen the toes up the back wall, and stretch the opposite arm forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch legs. And switch arms. Reach. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch it up again. Lengthen, reach. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last time through. Lengthen the leg back. Lift the arm up. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hand comes down, flex the foot, take the toes to the floor. We'll squeeze our blades together behind the back, press them toward the mat, and let's see if we can lift up into our plank. Walk those knees down and back to plank. Knee down, take it up. Knee down, take it up. One more time. Knee comes down, take the opposite one down to meet it. Let's go ahead and open one arm at a time out toward our side wall, focusing on lengthening those fingertips away from the breastbone. Opening up through the chest, side to side with those arms, hold it here. Let's take our feet together, bring those knees apart and press the bottom down toward the heels. Again, if you need a little bit of rocking back and forth to get those knees and hips happy, by all means go for it. We're gonna slide those hands toward the head of the mat again and lower that forehead. Take a big breath in. Exhale, hold. One more time, take a big breath in. And now we breathe out and walk our hands toward our screen. Let's pause here, breathe into the opposite side of the trunk. And then as we breathe out, we're gonna walk our hands a little closer to the body, press the heels of the hands inward, and the hand farthest from the screen is gonna come up. We're gonna cross it under the body and reach it toward the wall, okay? If you have a little more flexibility going, you're welcome to lengthen down, dropping the side of the arm toward the mat. Take a breath. We should feel this stretching through the opposite side, the outer portion of our upper arm on the far side, the side that's crossing. All right, we're gonna unwind, reach toward the opposite hand again, and then walk them all the way over to the other side. Pause, hand over hand, take a breath into that side of the trunk. Exhaling, we're gonna walk the hands a little closer to the body. The hand on the screen side crosses underneath the other, and we lower that shoulder down toward the floor, again, lengthening out through the upper arm, maybe even through the shoulder blade on that crossing through side. Big breath in. Exhaling, place the hand right back next to the other one. We'll walk those hands forward. Take it right back up to hands and knees, and we're gonna uncurl ourselves up into a nice tall kneeling position. All right. Adjust your position on your mat. If you find that you need more padding in this kneeling position, double your mat over, put your towel roll on top of that, give yourself a little extra cushion. We're gonna turn our palms to face the wall in front of us. Let's roll our shoulders back and down and then reach the fingertips toward the back wall. Squeeze the blades, pulse those fingers together. Pulse and pulse and pulse and pulse. Hold them here with that slight squeeze. Lean the body back, feel those quads engage. Inhale up nice and tall, exhale, lean back. Inhale up tall, exhale, lean back. Inhale up tall, exhale, hands to the hips. We're gonna take a seat on our mat now. Feet are gonna be in front of us. Shake those knees out a little bit. We're gonna get our weight settled up right over our sit bones. And let's take our hands to the outer portions of our upper thigh, lower portions of our outer upper thighs. All right, walking the feet in toward the bottom. We'll press our hands and our knees toward each other. We'll feel those hips open up a little bit. If you feel them engage, set the belly back toward the spine. Then we're gonna straighten our elbows out so the trunk leans back. Stop when we start to feel that core connection. Let's open and close one arm at a time. Looking straight forward, reaching that arm all the way out toward the side wall. Open and close. Open and close. Couple more on each side. One more time each. Open and close. Open and close. Grab those shins, pull the trunk up tall, give the shoulders a roll back and down. And we'll tip that head from side to side before coming up tall. All right, we're gonna take any extra padding that's anywhere near you right now, bring it off to the side. We are done with it for today. We're gonna bring ourselves over onto a forearm prop on our thighs. So forearms are down. Again, revisiting some of those warm-up positions here. If you need a little more opening for your low back, bring the feet a little farther apart. We're gonna take the belly and draw it up toward the spine, which is gonna pop us up a little bit lower onto our thighs, so our hips are not resting on the floor anymore. Our pubic bone should be slightly lifted. Keeping that core engaged, let's kick our heels to our bottom. One at a time, lengthen through the quad, get those hamstrings working, and let's see how still we can keep our back as our knees continue to bend. Kick, 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 kick. Here's 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Lengthen those legs back, big breath in. As we breathe out, we're gonna turn back onto our side, make our way all the way down, resting on that upper arm, and our knees are forward, heels are lined up at the bottom. Let's take our top hand to the mat, breathe in, and exhale the belly to the spine. Pressing into the hand, we're gonna lift and lower our knees. There's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Take the knees down, lift the feet for 4. For 3. For 2. Lift the feet and hold them there. We're gonna take our top knee up, straighten the legs out. Bend the knees, top knee down. Repeat, lift the knee, straighten, toes together, bend that knee. 2 more, lift and straighten, toes touch, knees touch. Last time, lift that knee, straighten, toes touch, knees touch. Take the feet down. We're gonna move to hydrants for 4. Hand comes to the waistline, 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height, circle that leg. Keep the knee bent. Circle, small circles moving from that hip joint, and reverse it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to center, straighten the bottom leg out, press into the mat with the hand, hydrants again. 4, 3, 2, back to hip height, stretch that top leg straight, circle forward, 4, 3, 2, and reverse it, backward 4, 3, 2, and 1, pulse up now with that top leg, 4, 3, 2, and hold, tighten up the bottom thigh, lift and lower it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, feet come down, bend the knees, give your hip a little pat, and let's press ourselves up and over to the other side. Take your time getting there. Resting on that bottom arm, we have our knees forward. We lift up our waistline, we press our top hand into the mat. Lift and lower those knees, there's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, lift the feet, 4, and 3, and 2. Lift and hold, top knee up, press the legs straight. Toes touch, knees down. Lift and reach and touch, knee down. 2 more, lift, toes apart. Toes touch, knees together, last time, lift and straighten. Toes touch, knees touch. Take the feet down, move to hydrants, lift and lower. 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height, swing that knee forward. Press it back, swing, press back. 2 more. Little different here on the side. Press forward, press back, hold that leg back there. We're gonna do our circle on this side with that thigh lined up with our waistline. You should just think about the differences between the two sides. Reverse. Do we feel more stretch through here? Do we feel more glute engagement in one position or the other? Take a moment to think about it for yourself. We're gonna straighten out that top leg, straighten the bottom leg out. Again, our top hand comes to the mat and we circle. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch it up. 3, 2, and 1. Pulse that leg up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Tighten up that bottom thigh. Bring it up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Top leg comes down. Bend up your knees. Pat out that hip. Excellent work. Let's turn to our backs. We're going to go ahead and draw those knees into the chest and let the back side of the body get nice and heavy into the floor. As we draw the knees in, we'll feel our back open up. We can rock side to side. Big breath in and exhale back, quieting our motion down to center. Drop a foot to the floor, cross the other ankle to that knee. If we can keep our shoulders and head nice and still, we can lift up. Either way, rock away from that crossed over side, wiggling into that stretch side stretch position, opening up that outer hip. Take it back to center, switch it up, ankle to knee. And again, lift if we have the slack. Rock away. Keep it going. Coming back to center, we unwind, we draw those knees in. Let's take our feet to the floor. We're gonna turn out to our sides. And let's go ahead and make our way up to standing. I'll leave it to you how you choose to make it up. You can come through hands and knees, or we can simply walk our bottoms back to the wall behind us. Weight is over those ankle joints and we press ourselves up nice and tall. All right, I promised a little balance. Grab something or stand near something stable if you'd like a little extra support. We're gonna start with our feet in line with our sit bones. Weight is over our ankle joints. Let's take our hands right to our waistline. We're gonna shift to one side and let's see if we can stand with one foot right in front of the other. It's okay if we're in a little head at a half position where the feet are staggered but the heel is right up next to the base of the big toe. You pick the position that works, you gives you the best challenge for what you need. We're gonna hold that position. And if this is easy, take your eyes out of the mix, turn your head, look side to side. Let your feet do the work instead of your vision, makes it a little more challenging. Looking forward, now we shift back. And we're gonna see if we can lift up into single leg balance. If you need your toes to the other side down for a little kickstand, that's okay. If we can lift up and find that balance point, go for it. Let's hold. Again, we could turn that head. face forward. It is completely fine to have a wiggly foot. Your brain and your foot are working together to keep us nice and steady. Hold 3, hold 2, and 1. Take that foot down, shake out that supporting leg a little, and repeat. Again, we could kind of split the difference, come partway up with that heel onto the other foot, or we could stand heel to toe. Turn your head if you want a little challenge. We'll look forward. Go ahead and step back. Shift the weight to your back leg, either kickstand toes on the other side or lifting up to single leg balance. And again, decide if you want that head turn added. Let's look forward. Excellent. Take those feet down. Shake out the knees. Settle the weight back to the heels. And we'll roll those shoulders up to the ears and drop them back down. Nod the chin gently, and let's look side to side over one shoulder and over the other. Looking forward toward the screen, we'll take a big breath in, arms come out, up and overhead. Press your palms together and look to the hands as we draw our feet together. And we'll breathe out to center. Excellent job. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and we will do this again next time. Enjoy your weekend and afternoon.
Thank you, same